right, welcome back. I know usually when I'm on here, we're talking about comics and comic book creators. Today, we are
Mhm.
still going to be talking about comic books, but in a different sense. With
Yep.
me, I have Stephanie, who is the one of the founders of FINCH. Is that correct?
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and about the app, and then we'll get into the comic side of it.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Steph, one of the co-founders of Finch. I help oversee the product side and what work very closely with the design and creative aspects. And Finch is an app that is really trying to normalize daily self-care. It's got a unique angle where we try to help gamify the more mundane aspects of self-care so that we can finally make, something that is oftentimes deprioritized for people into an actual like fun experience that people want to proactively do.
And how long has the app been around?
So we actually just hit our 5-year anniversary, and it's definitely been something that me and the team have been super grateful to be able to actually work on something that actually can help people in their lives. And we get a lot of stories just throughout the time on how Finch has helped touch them in improving healthy habits, working through challenges, that sort of thing.
Why don't you go into a little more about what the different, I guess, apps or not apps, but things that people can do on the app to help with their mental wellness and everything.
Yeah. So Finch is unique in that we give people the opportunity to hatch a self-care verb. And this is really a pet where it's designed to motivate you to help build habits. So the more you take care of yourself, you take care of your verb. And in the app, it's fundamentally about building habits. So primarily driven around, how do you have goals set for yourself? It could be really about anything that is important to you across physical health, mental health, like productivity, that sort of thing. And we also have other types of exercises that, people can link into their like daily lives. But that's a quick rundown of like what you can do on Finch today.
Now, is there a free side, or is there a like a subscription
Mm,
side to the
yeah,
to the app?
it's very important to us that we normalize and make self-care accessible. So while most apps do require a like plus subscription to even use the product, Finch is actually mostly free and it's a freemium model. And so there's only a set of specific features where if you want like a more enhanced or more customized experience, that's where there might be some plus specific features.
And now we'll get into the connection with comic books. As I guess you guys are doing a collaboration for the Supergirl movie, which comes out on June 26th, I believe. So, tell us a little bit about that and how that came to be.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting for us to be doing this type of partnership, but ultimately, for Finch, oftentimes the thing around self-care is it's very innately, repetitive. You are trying to build healthy habits that are not necessarily the most exciting. And our responsibility to our users is how can we, put fun twists? And a lot of this is through character-driven experiences, through storytelling, through delightful moments with their pet Burb. And with Supergirl, um, it was something that we were at least starting to think about how do we create a richer, like in-app experience for people's daily self-care. And it happened that, there's a strong alignment on the themes of superheroes, as I'm sure you're aware. So while superheroes have, unique superpowers and maybe very dramatic kind of world-ending kind of situations oftentimes, but a lot of times the themes around heroes is still fundamentally human, and challenges around like what a superhero navigates is also very relevant to everyday life that people resonate, and that's around like perseverance, being able to overcome challenges. These are all very relevant themes for daily self-care and just people figuring out how they can show up for the people they care about. And
Mhm.
so we thought that there could be a very unique um, character and story driven experience that we could provide that basically brought the intersection of like the Finch world and the Supergirl characters into something that really could resonate with people.
So, what can people, do that is that kind of connects to the Supergirl movie experience, whatnot?
Yeah. So I think in the usual experience with Finch, you have this concept of like taking care of yourself to take care of your burb. And your burb, as you are taking care of yourself, is growing, having experiences, building memories, creating, like a home and different kind of like ways to personalize. And so with Supergirl, we created a immersive experience where for the month of June, there is like a storyline where users can basically opt in to the world of Supergirl, be able to actually go through a story with Supergirl and Crypto. And I won't go into too much detail since that will be part of the experience itself,
Mhm.
but it'll be a full experience where you can think of, spicing up your self-care experience with Supergirl and being able to earn a lot of like Supergirl rewards with your self-care pet.
So, you personally, did you grow up with comic books? Do you read comic books?
Yeah, I mostly read manga and maybe like a handful of American comics like The Killing Joke, the kind of the ones that people are that are a bit more immediately well known. But yes, manga especially was very influential to me, and I definitely watched my share of like anime as well.
And as you were kind of developing the Supergirl experience, did you have to immerse yourself in, Kara's story to kind of help you guys direct your, the flow of your project?
Yeah. So I think in this case, it was an interesting balance because we know that we could dive into the original comic that the film is based off of, but we also recognize that we don't want to give too much of the story away. And there are going to be a little bit of some things that we want to be mindful of what to reveal. And
Mhm.
so I think we're trying to balance, like, try to understand from original source material, work with DC Studios just to make sure that whatever we introduce in our own kind of intersection of Finch and Supergirl, that it hits still like a lot of the human themes and like the quirks and qualities of Kara and Crypto, but still be able to give that almost like true character representation, but still focus more on like a more unique take of a story that could involve self-care through your burb and superheroes.
So, I mean, aside from there being a Supergirl movie coming out,
Mhm.
in your opinion, what is it about the character of Supergirl that lends itself to you know this type of journey?
Yeah, I think for Supergirl especially, and like for example, a lot of self-care in the industry is oftentimes portrayed in a very polished way. Like you have it all together. It's very Instagram worthy moments. I think like Superman is a little bit in a more polished representation of heroes just in general. So thinking of Supergirl, she is a very interesting contrast where, you know, she doesn't feel like she connects with people because she went through something very tough growing up. She is trying to figure out like her own place, but she also has a lot of really good values and like determination when she's committing to something. And so I think for Finch, there's a lot of aspects about her dimensions that are very relevant to, you know, people people overcoming struggles in a very like human way. And I think that part was one aspect that really struck us for like why we were particularly interested in this opportunity.
And I don't want you to give too much away, but were there any
Mhm.
Supergirl, stories that you guys, looked at when you guys were developing that kind of spoke to, you personally?
I think, I mean, we largely focused on Woman of Tomorrow when we were just trying to understand the angle that we wanted to portray her in. And yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail.
Okay.
The other thing is we were trying to be mindful to not go too broad in looking
Yeah.
at all the different angles, because then that might almost like over influence us on how we want to portray like this particular aspect of her character. But Woman of Tomorrow was definitely a big source material for the team to engage in.
So what I'm hearing is it's not going to get bogged down in continuity.
Sure. Yes, yes, a natural challenge.
So, anything else you wanted to make sure that people knew about either the app or the upcoming, the event with the Supergirl um, theme that you guys are doing?
Yeah. I think ultimately finding ways to normalize daily self-care requires us being very creative and feeling like we can bring almost like inspirational experiences, things that can make the mundane things in daily self-care fun. And the team really put a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort working on building this experience that's very new for even our own team. And we just really hope that people can enjoy this spin on, you know, helping make daily self-care more fun.
And again, not to spoil anything, but are there any other IPs, that you would like to, work with in the future? You know, given your experience with the Supergirl stuff,
Mm,
or ones that the ones that you think would work well with the app.
mm-mm. We definitely as a team are excited to work with IPs. There's a lot of interesting, rich like stories and worlds that are really focused on, you know, overcoming struggles and that sort of thing. I can't go into too much detail at this point on like the exact IPs, but that is something that we at least always want to consider more on how to make a richer experience for our users.
Nice. So as we kind of wrap up here, because I know you're probably busy and all that, but why don't you give one last pitch for the app and for the Supergirl, event that you guys are doing?
Yeah. Finch is a self-care pet app that helps make daily self-care more fun. It's the one app that we hope can really make a difference in people's daily lives so that they have the energy to show up for the people that they care about. In June, we are having a special moment where we're partnering with Supergirl, creating a immersive experience where you are adventuring with Supergirl and crypto to really create a unique experience where doing self-care makes progress in this immersive story, and you can really spice up your burb with lots of Supergirl world fan gear. But overall, team worked really hard to make this experience, and we really hope people enjoy it.
And where can people find out more about the app? And I'm assuming that it's available for both iPhone and Android.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's available on App Store and Google Play.
Okay. And where can people find out more about the about it, or follow on social media?
Yeah, so we're going to be sharing more announcements with our communities, but you can definitely follow us on Instagram to get more updates along the way.
All right. Well, we will do that. And again, thank you for taking the time to talk about the app and the upcoming experience. I'll definitely have to check it out myself. And yeah, I think, like I said, I think the movie comes out June 26th. So it'd be a nice way to prime your Supergirl pump for the movie.
Yeah, of course. And thanks so much for having me, Chad.
All right. Well, thank you. And yeah, you're welcome back anytime you have another comic book related event that you'd like to talk about.
Of course. Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you and have a great day.
All right. You too.